She is here to restore balance. Let them fight. This is Dynamo, the season 1 finale of the Powerpuff Girls. And it's another 20-minute episode, and like the Rowdy Rough Boys, it's really good. I think I prefer Rowdy Rough Boys a bit more, but I'll get into that a bit. Anyway, in this episode, the professor has decided that he's worried about the girls all of a sudden. Even though they fought tons of monsters in the past, the professor suddenly is really worried. So anyway, after they're in Tokyo Townsville, which, wonder if there's a Chinatown as well. Anyway, they fight, of course, a giant monster. But anyway, the professor's still concerned, so he builds this giant robot for the girls to use to keep them safe. But the girls are like, no, we don't need that. And the professor's like, no, you need to use it. But the girls refuse. So a week goes by. They casually defeat tons of villains, from Mojo Jojo to an octopus attacking a dam with a headline reading, Damn Octopus. I wonder if that was an adult joke. And then eventually the blowfish's father, I guess, or whatever, comes back and starts destroying towns. It's literally this cool blowfish where it literally inhales air and it grows in size. And the girls find they can't destroy it. It's too tough, so they need to use the Dynamo. So they get into the robot, and after a long fight, they destroy it. And regardless of how I feel, it's very clear that the people working on this were having a lot of fun. This just is a fun homage to those old monster movies. We had the giant monster in the city. It was stomping around, and there's another giant thing. It's a huge throwdown. So, really good. And very much like Rowdy Rough Boys, the 20-minute length feels justified. I mean, it's sort of like the structure Tartakovsky would use on Samurai Jack, which, I mean, Watch of the 2000s points this out in his top 10 Samurai Jack episodes list. That's Samurai Jack episodes follow a 2-act structure where the first half's a lot of build-up and the second half's the huge throwdown. And these 20-minute episodes, which so far out of the two, they've worked really well. It'll be curious to see if they'll hold up. And the reason why is because, again, the first half, it's a lot of build-up, a lot of setup, and then the second half, it's where all the huge throwdown happens. And just like, I mean, not as much as Rowdy Rough Boys. I prefer the throwdown Rowdy Rough Boys to this, but this was still a lot of fun. I love how they acknowledge that in all these monster movies, whenever there's a throwdown, the city always gets just completely annihilated. Like, there's, like, Godzilla. Like, he'll save the city, but he'll destroy, like, half of it in the process. And I love how they acknowledge that. Like, he does more to destroy the city and save it. It's like Man of Steel again, except if they acknowledge it. But this one more specifically reminded me of the Roland Emmerich Godzilla movie from 1998, which, if you haven't seen, it's not a good movie. It's honestly, outside the title, there's like nothing to indicate it's a Godzilla movie. But anyway, basically in it, there's this laughable scene of how Godzilla never feels threatening. The military does more to destroy the city than Godzilla. Like, there's a scene where they're shooting missiles at Godzilla, and Godzilla just casually steps out of the way, and they end up accidentally blowing up the Empire State Building. And there's stuff in this that is very similar. You have scenes where the girls are, like, shooting missiles and weapons at it, and they destroy everything but the monster. Like, they destroy Townsville Hall, all this stuff. Like, the animators must have had a lot of fun creating all these uniquely designed buildings and malls and stadiums that are just going to get blown up. Like, seriously, this must have been, like, a really fun episode for the writers, for the storyboard artists. Like, okay, we want you to build all these unique buildings so we can blow them up. Build a mart. Build a clearly kosher deli. And we're just going to blow it all up. And I love how this episode just completely acknowledges it, because in the monster movies, usually it would be pretty subtle. Like, the city would get destroyed, but they just make such a big deal of it. Like, every attack the girls do destroys Townsville. Like, they go into the steel ball, they back up into the town hall. They shoot missiles, and it shoots everything but the monster. Like, it's this huge buildup that all the missiles, like, come out, like, open. It's very much like Tartakovsky, where he'll build up the weapons. Like he'll show this weapon opening up here and here and here, and it just goes on to a comedic. Like it goes on way longer than it should, to the point where there's missiles coming out of every part of its body. I mean, well, most parts of its body. And then they shoot the missiles at the robot, and no, the robot shoots the missiles at the monster, and again, it destroys everything. And it's just so well done, because you build it up, and then it does nothing. And the build-up, it's very similar to how Tartakovsky stages his action scenes, where you gradually see everything. Or when the monster's destroying the village, like you see the destruction, like you see a foot, you see an explosion, you see fire breath, and then you see the monster standing there. It's very similar to this one bit in Birth of Evil when Aku's destroying Jack's village. It's the 2-part prequel episode that shows the origin for Samurai Jack. Anyway, I digress. Back to Powerpuff Girls. I would fault this episode for being a little slow, because this fight, it's a very slow fight. It's very turn-based. It's like the monster will do one attack, and then the robot will do one attack. And there's a part of me that wishes it went a little faster, but at the same time, I mean, it's a giant monster. If I remember, usually the monster fights tend to be a little slow. Again, the most recent Godzilla movie, the fight, it wasn't like punch, punch, punch. It was just slow. Godzilla will do a move. The monster will do... Moth, whatever the giant monster in the Godzilla movie is. He'll do a move. Or Pacific Rim. The fights tend to be slow. So I'm not going to fault it for that. And even then, Samurai Jack, if I remember, there was a fight episode where Jack gets into a giant robot to fight something. And that fight I remember going slow. Sorry if I give Tartakovsky a lot of credit for this, but there's a lot of stuff in Powerpuff Girls that just reminds me of Samurai Jack. So yeah, the slow pace works. Even where the robot being revealed and slowly built up. But at the same time, I think the slow pace is also why I prefer the Rowdy Rough Boys fight, because that fight's a lot faster. There's a lot of pep and energy, whereas this is a little slow. Each character only gets in a couple moves, because, Sorry, I thought I heard something. Each one only gets in a couple moves. I think the girls only do the steel ball, the missiles, and then the throwing star. There might be one more move in there, but I forget. And then the monster does one. I prefer the Rowdy Rough Boys fight was longer, which is why I prefer that, and it was faster paced. But again, as a throwdown monster fight, this was still really, really well done. A really fun homage. And even to the point where the girls are shouting all the technical babble, and the professors make all the technical babble about the robot works. The writers must have had a lot of fun. Okay, write gibberish for the power thing and what the robot's made of. It's just fun. You just make up a bunch of words that will mean something. And make it sound like it means something. I don't really have any problems with this episode outside the slow pace fight, but that's more preference than anything. The only other flaw I can think of is that all of a sudden now the professor's concerned. All of a sudden now, despite dozens of battles, the professor all of a sudden now is concerned about the girls. But again, it's just, it just feels like a contrived excuse to have a giant robot fight, which, again, I'm willing to overlook because, again, the payoff we get is really good. And also, this isn't the last time something like this would happen. If you watch Pacific Rim, giant monsters are invading the world, so they build giant robots to fight them, and, okay, is that the most logical way to deal with a giant monster? Besides missiles, evacuation, or planes. But it's no, we're building giant robots, not because it's logical, but because it's gonna look it's gonna look cool. And it wouldn't be fun to watch them fight. Yeah. Little detail that I'm not sure if anyone noticed was First off, a lot of the sound effects in here, from the explosions to the mechanical stuff, it's stuff from that. A lot of these sound effects were recycled in Samurai Jack. Also, you can see Dexter amongst the Townsville crowd that's cheering, like when the robot first arrives, Dynamo. And was I the only one who thought the robot was going to turn evil at some point? Like, the instant I saw the image, like, okay, is this going to be one of those things where they build a good robot and it just turns evil and tries to kill the Powerpuff Girls? If they want to bring Dynamo back, I would love to see them explore that angle. Have the girls fight this virtually unstoppable robot. Like, I feel like Dynamo's going to come back at some point. Like, the professor's going to be like, no, we can improve her or something. So overall, really solid end to Season 1. Really, two really good finales. One slightly better than the other, but both really well done. Really, I brought out the best in the season, and good way to end it. Like, I mean, this is a show where you'd want to see it get renewed for second season. And with that, I'm done with Season 1, which only took over almost 2 years, but I finally finished Season 1. And in case you're wondering, I mean, this vlog's going to go up like probably a month after Rowdy Rough Boys, but it's been like a few months. Like, I recorded the Rowdy Rough Boys vlog in the summer, and even though I said I was going to record it like shortly after, but here I am like 6 months later recording the final episode of Season 1. But anyway, overall, really good season. Really glad I decided to watch this show. There were episodes I didn't like, but I think the biggest flaw the season has is they'll have episodes where there's a really good setup and then the payoff's very contrived. Which this episode didn't have, I just realized. Like, the setup, it wasn't contrived. Like, and I think that's also because it was 20 minutes and you had a lot more time to come up with a solution. And in case anyone's wondering, my favorite episodes of the season, it's either Octi-Evil or Rowdy Rough Boys. And I might just throw this one in there as well. I'm just looking here. Because there's a bunch of ours I thought were really good. Yeah, those are like the 3 standouts. Again, I don't know. I mean, I haven't gone online, so I don't know if any of the 3 I mentioned are like the fan favorites, or if like, oh, you like that one? But again, that's part of the fun of doing these vlogs, is I go into these episodes, I barely know anything about the show, like outside of seeing bits and pieces there. I don't know like what the fan favorites are, what the ones people hate. So it's fun to do these vlogs. And then also just, it's probably fun for you guys because you've already seen the episodes, and so you know like which ones are the ones that are the fan favorites and which ones are the haters, and so there's a general excitement in knowing those are coming, and also knowing, oh, am I gonna think? Am I gonna love it like everyone else? Am I gonna hate it like everyone else? So yeah. So anyway, Season 1's done. So next up is going to be Season 2. Now, because these vlogs are recorded so well, spaced out, for you guys, the next episode's going to be the whoop-ass girls' palettes. Like, someone requested that. There's this one person who just comments on all my videos, and it's really nice. And anyway, he or she, I don't know which, but anyway, this person basically told me to do the whoop-ass girls episodes, so by popular demand, I'm going to do those. But I'm not going to record those next. They're going to be uploaded next, but I mean, given how long of a space there is between when videos get uploaded, like for you guys, it's going to be next. But I'm going to watch, like, while I'm here and I have my big screen TV and everything, I'm going to watch, like, a few more Season 2 episodes and record those vlogs. And then when I get back from break, I'm going to quickly record all the Rowdy Rough Boys vlogs, so hopefully I'll be able to upload those in order. So you guys will hopefully see the Rowdy Rough Boys, the unaired pilot episodes first, and then Season 2. But, I mean, knowing me, like, I might not get as much done as I thought, and you guys will have to see them out for, but I'll try. So what was Season 1, it's over. What's your favorite episode from Season 1? Which is your preferred season finale? Do you prefer the Godzilla rematch or the Evil Twin fight? Comment and let me know, and get excited for Season 2, which I'll hopefully vlog about soon. And because again, you've seen it, I'm sure there's tons of episodes in season 2 that you're really excited or curious to see me vlog about, and I am excited to do it too. So like, dislike, comment, subscribe, and this is JStars260, and I'll see you guys in the next vlog. Until then, take care.